seeing a side switch in addition to some craziness coming down. We've got Team Beat Boop versus Trickle Down Economics in this 2v2. I'm your friendly neighborhood Shoutcaster Shargan, and I've got joining me on the caster's desk for this final game, Yubi's Red. I am just absolutely stoked for this last game.
Yeah, it should be a banger. You know, we have TDE with their backs against the wall. Even though it is 2-2, it's gotta feel bad when you're one game away from getting reverse swept. And as we go into pick bans, I expect to see priority on this Twitch, either in the ban or potentially even being first picked.
It very well could be. Now, I got to ask you before we actually start getting into these picks, which of these two teams, Red, is it that you want to be going up against in the finals?
Real quick, the Twitch hover for the ban before I answer. My prediction was correct. All right. I do hope TDE does win this. I have friends on both teams, and I would like to be able to play both of them if possible, but I do think that we would have an easier time playing against TDE than we would against Beat Boop. As we see even the Blitzcrank hover, which is TDE's own pick that they played for the last 4. They're trying to deny it from Antunes taking it.
And we do have right now, you've heard it here, folks, Red has said that TDE is the weak sauce team. They are the team that they want to go against, and that they will be the easy win. Beat Boop is the one who would give them a challenge. So we do see the Shen as the first pick. How do you feel about that? That's kind of an interesting one in my opinion.
So I like it. I ultimately do. I don't particularly think that Zenzen has any really good answers. I would think that his best one would probably be Scion and just be playing for that Hullbreaker split, as we see the Vex taken away and Ashe is picked up.
Another interesting set of choices coming out from TDE. That Ashe pickup is a champion that you often see on the field, and you just kind of underestimate how much damage they're going to end up doing over time. It just hits you a lot harder than you expect. And Vex, we've been seeing used to great effectiveness by P-Sweezy, so stealing that away, putting it on Mezuzah, feels like Mezuzah wants to go, hey, look, I want to show you how this is done. But at the same time, all of those extra bans down in the bot lane means they left the Corki open.
Yeah, it's definitely been P-Sweezy's best performing champion, but it is critical that they either took away the Vex or banned it. P-Sweezy has not looked good on anything else he has played other than the Vex in this series specifically. So he's back on comfort, and once again, they have the dive comp, the UB comp, the Shen Nocturne with some other global engage in the mid.
Now, what kind of ADC do you expect Beat Boop to pick up? Just because it does, like you said, they've got that dive comp. So you want something that can either attack from long range or just survive for long periods of time. I'm thinking like some kind of poker, like maybe Ezreal potentially.
It's possible. Ezreal's not terrible. He can follow up pretty easily with a True Shot Barrage right on top of where the Corki package Nocturnal's going. It's kind of hard to say. I imagine that there's probably going to be maybe a Jinx ban on the side of TDE, or maybe they're just planning to leave it open. But I think Jinx might be the best, just because you have all this damage coming out in the Corki, in the Nocturne engage, and you can have the Jinx rocket follow up to either snipe the kill immediately after the engage, or get the assist, so when they die to that engage, Jinx gets excited and she runs on forward. But we see Hook champions, Antunes, getting prioritized again in the draft. We might see a Nautilus ban here, putting him onto something less comfortable, like the Leona that we have seen him play.
This is true. Could also be that Bob Joseph just bans out that Nautilus and then picks up the Leona for themselves. So that might be a way to go, because then you don't even let Antunes pick up something they're comfortable with at all.
Yeah, it's very likely that they actually pick Leona here.
And with the Nunu ban as well, they're trying to get leaves off of those playmaking junglers. So they are leaving the Jarvan out and available, so that might be something we see picked up. We could be looking for potentially maybe a Trundle, something to provide some extra slows, some hard eating, chomping down.
Interesting. Beat Boop bans the Leona themselves. They're saying, well, we're not going to get our comfort support, so we're not going to even let you have an engage support. We're going to limit your engage options from the support role, and it looks like both supports are going to be on some form of enchanter.
It very well, like that's basically all that feels like that is left at this point. And we are seeing the Renata hovered. That is interesting. We have a Renata picked up.
This is actually really good. Beep Boop wants a very fast engage. They want to be diving onto this Ashe. But Renata can dissuade that. If they know that they're going to be diving in, but they're not going to be able to do anything once they do, it might give TDE enough time to actually get kills. But critically, we see the Jinx is being hovered once again for Beep Boop.
Yep, we do see the Jinx actually picked up and the Braum hovered as well. That's kind of a unique one right there.
So Braum is really good into Ornn. He can use his shield to block either half, either R1 or R2 from the Ornn. So it's not a bad pick. I'm not 100% positive on what happens when Braum shields Renata. Well, I don't know if it passes through or not. It does? Okay. So it is a good pick. However, it does not really fit the theme as we see Viego come in. Leaves is saying, give me the carry pick. I will reset through their team. And it's actually really good because if Nocturne comes in and ults in, or Corki ults in, and Shen can't ult them in time, or they have enough damage to burst through the shield, Viego gets that reset, and he can take their engage and throw it right back at them, or their damage rather, because their engage would have been expended.
Well, this is actually looking really, really interesting. So the main tank that we have on the side of TDE is that Ornn. Well, we've got the Shen and the Braum kind of making up that front line for Beep Boop. I'm leaning in the direction of Beep Boop if they play this slowly and they play this really carefully. They just have a little bit better of a front line. However, Renata can kind of turn that around if they get a really good angle on that ultimate and actually cause Jinx to go to Berserk and start hitting that back line. Same thing with Dax. If they manage to get Nocturne to start hitting his own teammates, that's going to actually end up being really, really devastating for this team. And now we're seeing
for a level 1. Zenzen's not in the right spot. He's not going to see this soon enough.
No, he's not. He's going to start walking away just as Antunes shows up. Antunes revealed themselves just a little bit too early.
Antunes was on the bot side. You get vision of that a lot sooner. So he's able to see Antunes walking up and is able to walk out safely. Doesn't need to expend flash. They're moving it as a 5-stack. They might be looking to steal this red buff.
They could be.
They dropped ward and it looks like they're leaving.
Yeah, it looks like wards are all that's going to be dropped down. We do already have a ward on red buff for side of TDE. But we have 2 members hanging out by this red as well. So they are going to be trying to steal it.
Yeah, and yeah, it does look like they are actually going to take the steal. They are going to be spot out of the ward. Leeds is going to walk into the bot. Now, critically, this means that vertical jungling could come into play here, which means Leaves is going to be on the top side or the bot side of the map and Dax on the top, which is good for the Shen, but it's kind of interesting.
They are already rotating over now. We see Leaves going into the red side jungle. He's going to be walking over a ward, though really well placed by the bot side. And we do see that he's going to be taking that buff as well. So while they do end up stealing buff, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how much more either of these teams take from each other.
Yeah, and something that we didn't mention about the Renata is her ability to keep someone alive. If you're throwing everything you have on that Corki package engage, on that Nocturne engage with the Shen ulting on top, and you don't kill that person, it's everything is blown at that point. And especially if it's Viego and he does manage to get the reset, Renata Glass is really good with champions that reset, because not only does it give them the extra time they need to get that reset, it
nice stuff.
Yeah, that's typically the nature of ranged matchups in the bot lane. I expect TD's bot lane to have run of the lane for a little while. You know, there's no hooks in this lane to kind of dictate things, as we see a little bit of a trade top. That was a great dodge.
Yep, we got kind of the same pool noodle fight going on in this top lane. I feel like Zen preferred the Ornn into Shen matchup over these past couple of games. Feels like the Gragas worked, but it wasn't doing what he needed it to do.
Yeah, the Ornn definitely is better in the lane against him. And although there is a Braum that can potentially ruin the Ornn's day, you know, it's not to say that you can't get Ornn ult off, and especially if you're using that Braum shield to block the Braum ult, and we see a bit of a trade.
Whoop. Nice trade happening right here. It's not going to really result in a kill as long as TDE manages to back off. Both junglers are not anywhere near this fight, so
yeah, it's so win conditions I'm looking for at this game. Obviously, baby, you have the Nocturne Shen, you have the Corki. They're going to be looking for these big dive plays and trying to get kills that way. Now, on the flip side, for TDE, you know, they need this Vex to either get onto the Jinx or dissuade the dive when the dive comes into them with that fear on the W when they come in.
Mm-hmm. Zuza looking for that damage, trying to get that fear off, isn't quite able to. But they do have a pretty decent control of this lane. Bob Joseph, in the meantime, throwing out those missiles is causing them to expend a large portion of their mana pool. Same thing for Ultravox.
Yeah, and we are seeing CS pretty even across the board, aside from top lane. Zenzen is down in CS, and he's losing these trades. It is rough to play into Shen as a tank in the early levels.
Mm-hmm. And Dax is going to make it even harder as we've now got the 2v2 coming on. We got a nice bit of fear coming out. The flash coming out means First Blood's going over to the Nightmare.
Now, critically, he does manage to get both of their flashes out, and you know, Leaves is up there. He's going to be able to catch any CS that crashes into tower, and I suspect Orange just TPing back here. Yes, correct. I probably would have liked to see a tier a bit earlier onto the Ornn. It's a good game for him to go Fimbulwinter, and he needs to start stacking that as soon as possible, and it also lets him harass a little bit easier in the lane. But picking up more health is never a bad thing.
Especially against a Shen who's probably going to come back with a Cinder Hulk.
Yeah, and critically, you know, there's the old adage of ganking the global, and that counts for both teams. The enemy team wants to get that global behind so they're less impactful, and the ally team wants to make their global more impactful. And so far, we see a CS lead, and although the kill didn't go to Jaffe, he is up in gold now.
He is able to get himself up in gold just a little bit. That's going to be a nice, comfortable lead for him. We do have a good crash coming out from Zenzen right here, forcing that wave into the tower. He is going to basically kind of be stuck here, though, having to wait it out a little bit. Pop open his copy of the FOF Connect, read up on exactly what it is that his teammate has been saying, and see if there's anything about him in Bob Joseph's manifesto. In the meantime, though, we do have this Hextech Drake getting picked up by the TDE very early on.
Yeah, Hextech Drake is really, really good. It's easily the best Drake that you can get. Not necessarily always the best soul, but it is still a good soul. It has the highest win rate increase of any dragon. And we see Jaffe taking a really good trade.
Really good trade. Really good amount of damage. The knockup's going to come out on Zenzen. Zenzen brought very, very low. And that is just the problem with laning into a Shen, where they get those empowered auto attacks with that Q. The Spirit Sword just does so much damage to your health bar so early on.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you don't have the resist to be able to, you know, kind of start reducing it a little bit. Now, something important to note is Shen is level 6 and he's ahead in the lane, so he's comfortable to be able to ult out if he needs to, and he'll still either be ahead or at the very worst case scenario even, unless things go awry on the ult play.
We did see Mazuza coming down thinking about trying to do a gank, but unfortunately wasn't available for them. We do have Dax once again going in on this top lane, jumping right on top of the Ornn, going under the tower. Means that it's going to be another easy pickup for them. We do have the ult from Shen coming out, taking a couple of tower shots for his trouble.
It definitely wasn't necessary. Dax was going to live that with Triumph, and critically, that is 2 globals that they need to use on the rest of the map. I don't think it's worth it putting this energy into the Ornn. He's going to scale up anyways, as Jaffe's taking a couple extra tower shots and Leaves is ganking bot lane.
Being a little cheeky right there for sure. Leaves looking for that angle, not ready to go under the tower. Ultravox check, taking the zap gun to the face. Does mean that engage is kind of a lost one for the side of TDE.
Yeah, I don't think Leaves really expected that Q to pull the Ashe back in, because we saw him walking away as the Ashe was pulled back into the... the Jinx was pulled back into the lane. And what's really important to note here is that TDE's bot lane, while there is a couple more CS, they should be further ahead in a ranged matchup.
You would think that. However, one thing about Renata is her
Coming
range
back.
is just so low. It's very, very tough. We do see Leaves ready to continue this engage.
Bob Joseph should be hitting. I'm sorry, Ultravox should be hitting 6 on these next couple minions.
Hopefully, we'll have to see if they actually end up taking it. We do know Dax has already taken the topside red buff, in addition to this blue buff here, which is going to set Leaves behind very drastically. Doing a great job on Dax on his side, making sure to counter this Viego as much as possible.
Yeah, Dax is pretty much just entirely committing. Oh, there goes the
Nice hook. We do have the ultimate coming out, going behind the Braum in order to make sure that it actually comes out. However, the Super Mega Death Rocket is going to do a lot of damage. We are going to see the Ashe have to flash away. Antunes getting really, really low, but he's not going to go down because he's not under tower. But look at this. We got Leaves, the Ruin King, here for the cleanup. He gets the first reset, jumps onto Luru, trying to get that target. Vexo is going to be the one to get the jump in, but we see Viego slip that sword right underneath and get the double kill.
Yeah, so it ended up being really bad for TD at the start. You know, they are playing the lane that should have the priority in the beginning, and they managed to lose the 2v2, but Leaves comes in, and he gets the kills, and this is a player that can carry, and he's on a champion that can snowball.
Mm-hmm. And that is the thing. If you can get this Viego ahead, that was good. I liked the gumption out of Bob Joseph trying to use to step around the Braum in order to make sure to hit that Jinx. However, the angling was slightly off, so Jinx had plenty of space to dodge, and they were able to avoid starting to return on that attack. Would have turned out really well for them had they been able to hit that.
Yeah, and something to note is I did mention vertical jungling earlier, and it seems like both junglers have committed to it. You see that is farming this side of the map, and it's actually really important for Baby that their bot lane managed to win the 2v2 in a situation where their jungler is nowhere near them.
And now we've got Drake coming up here in about 47 seconds, and we are going to be seeing the rest of the members of TDE look and try and probably jump in onto this bot lane as quickly as possible, so that way they're able to avoid any craziness.
Yeah, and you know, we're not gonna have any summoners on the bot side for this dragon that's coming up, but critically, Shen'el is available. So while both bot lanes are vulnerable, there is a Shen'el that can save him as Ultravox is caught.
Oh no, poor old Ultravox getting caught out is not going to be what you want to see. You got the Paranoia dropping down as well. Luru manages to pick up that kill, and that is going to be the end of poor old Ultravox.
Yeah, this lane is not going the way that they want. They want to be ahead, and they want to be ahead especially when their jungler's on their side of the map the entire time. And we even see Dax down here, and they're going to be able to stop the dragon, stall the soul that TDE was hopefully planning to get.
And that is going to be a nice Drake pickup, and we got the oceans coming to life. So now that is going to mean a lot more bushes on the map, lots more vision denial, lots more places you got to be very, very careful of when walking around, which I think is to the advantage of TDE in this case.
It is and it isn't. I think both teams can do a lot when they are limiting information that the other team has. As we see, Mezuzah is on the top side. He misses the ult though.
Mezuzah missing that ult is going to be a little tough, but we do see the knockup's actually going to come through, which means that the Nightmare is going to come out, and Zen Zen takes Jaffe down. The Ninja is removed from the equation, and they finally get a little bit of pressure taken away in this top lane.
It is good that they managed to get the kill, but critically, the kill went onto the Ornn, which is less beneficial than it would have been if it was on Vex. If you were able to get this Vex accelerated, she could go in and potentially one-shot someone and with the Viego and allow him to start resetting through the fight.
Very, 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 very true. All right, here now with the way things are set up, not too many objectives. We do have the Corki package getting dropped right here. Mezuzah's going to be brought very, very low. Shen'el as well. That is a really good combo coming out of the side of Baby.
Jaffe gets his revenge. Mezuzah, you come to my lane, I'll come to yours. And the kill, critically, once again, as I talked about earlier, it did go on to the mid laner this time. Corki, when accelerated, it can be terrifying, as Herald is dropped top lane to give some plates to Jaffe and Dax.
Yep, nice bit of gold in their pocket, which they're going to absolutely love. And in the meantime, TDE's starting to fall behind. We're starting to see just why your stamina is so important in these games. Antunes walking right up there, getting a nice root, nice block. That is going to be, unfortunately, the shield blocking that. And that's the ultimate denied as they aired it off just a little bit too soon. Braum ulti's going to get a nice bit of knockups as well. We have the bailout coming through as well. The first reset, those Viego manages to take down the Jinx, means that this is going to start being an easy cleanup for Leaves.
All right, we have a game now. Game 5. Leaves is coming in. He's saying, I'm not going down. It doesn't matter if my bot lane is not winning the lane. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to clean up the kills, and I'm going to snowball.
He's just raking in that gold right now.
And if we look, bot lane is relatively even in CS, but mid and top are slightly behind, and there are kills on them, so they are a bit further ahead.
Oh no, Zenzen missing that knockup.
And that's about that. Leaves in a potentially dangerous position as he's getting ulted on.
Paranoia coming out as we see Leaves getting brought very low. That's a large amount of gold going on to the Nocturne. Picks up the bounty.
That is absolutely tragic for TDE. Nocturne already slightly accelerated from a kill, from some plates. He manages to get a big shutdown. As we see a bit of an engaged top. Flash.
Nice engaged top. Good flash coming out from Zenzen. They do have the health bar advantage. However, they don't quite have the damage. Brittle Proc's doing a lot of work, but not quite enough.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate. He had to expend flash, and we see down here Bob
Look
Joseph.
At this, Bob Joseph taking so much damage under tower. Does manage to get a nice bit of damage off the bailout. Is that the flash as well? Over the Braum manages to pick up that kill. Does mean that Antunes is going to be stuck in this fight all by his lonesome. The shield does a lot, but it doesn't do enough after that first proc, and that is going to be a double kill on the Ashe.
And importantly, Zenzen managed to get the solo kill top lane. Well, it looks like Dax is going to get the trade kill back here. But he had a shutdown. Tragic.
So much gold going onto this Nocturne. That is now 2 shutdowns going over to them. They're going to have a nice hefty amount in their pocket. Now they've got a 300 gold bounty on them, which means that there's going to be some nightmare hunting coming out soon.
Yeah, it's kind of turning into a thing where it's like, who can we kill first? You know, TDE wants to get those resets. They want to get it. But with Dax being this accelerated, and you know, this isn't last game. This is not lethality Nocturne. He has a stride breaker. He's bulkier. He's going to be harder to kill. And when he has this much gold, he can afford luxury items like a death stance or maw, or even more tank stats to help him from dying and avoid the reset coming in from Leaves. And that is the majority of TDE's lead. Now, granted, Ashe is now 3-2 and has a bounty of her own, but she is not going to be a very big source of your damage until she gets maybe 1 or 2 more items.
Right, and we do see Antunes was looking over this Drake, and we have TDE now hovering by it. They've got vision control. They've got really good control of this river right now. This Drake is going to go down very quickly. Baby's basically going to have to force this wave in the mid lane in order to try and get something out of it before the rest of TDE rotates. But look at this. They're basically just leaving Leaves there to do it themselves while they try to stop this from being taken out.
There it is.
Great block by Braum as he managed to take out the Paranoia as well in order to prevent the vision. Does mean that they're not able to jump in on this. Really well done by Baby.
Yeah, and that's just it's rough. They do manage to get the dragon. I'm pretty sure Baby just doesn't care about a singular Ocean Drake. It doesn't help them that much, and they get 2 towers and they expend multiple ults that just don't amount to anything.
Renata does currently have her ult available right now, so the Berserk could be popping out here soon. However, in the jungle is probably one of the best places to use it just because you have so much so many corridors that you're able to just launch it down. There's nowhere for anybody to go.
Yeah, definitely. And we're entering a bit of a state where both teams are just going to farm up a little bit. Critically, we look at mid lane. We see that P-Sweezy is ahead in items, and if we look at bot lane, it's even, and the tanks are doing tank stuff. So right now, we're relatively even everywhere except for the mid lane.
Everywhere except for that mid lane, which we have always seen kind of go in the favor of Mezuzah, is now kind of going in the favor of P-Sweezy.
Yeah, and I think that's just the comfort, I'm
Mhm.
fairly positive that P-Sweezy is actually just undefeated on this champion. And
Oh.
that is very important to know as Vexel hits,
Vex
but it's
managed to get the
on the
turret. Does
Braum.
manage to go in. We do have the Paranoia come down. We got the ultimate arrow, just going to find no targets. It goes just a little bit wide. That is going to be devastating. Orange doesn't manage to get the background. We get the first reset from Leaves. Manages to pick that up. Bob Joseph looking for that engage. Leaves trying to find Jappy. Not quite able to do it. Jappy just barely able to get away with his life. And that is going to be a 1-for-none in the favor of trickle-down economics.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. The Renata ult comes out and it dissuades the rest of Baby from falling up on the Nocturne, and the rest of TDE just is like, it doesn't matter if you have a Shen ult, we'll kill you and we'll almost kill the Shen. And even more importantly, Leaves gets the shutdown gold. They're just we talk about a top lane conspiracy of top laners just trading each other kills. This game's a jungle conspiracy.
Pretty much. Going back and forth, back and forth. However, we do have now Zen able to get some free farm up in this top lane. Unleashed teleports are available, which is going to be really nice for both members of these two teams. And we've got so much coming out now that we've got the Drake up in another 2 minutes. Baron's up in another 30. When that happens, it's going to get really, really exciting, I think.
Yeah, and something else really important to know as this game goes on, we are going to start seeing Ornn items coming through. Zen's one level away from getting his 1,000. Oh, Vex engage.
Ultra's gonna find nice
One
on top
shot.
of that. There's gonna be Ultravox going on an absolute rampage. Antunes not able to defend their ADC as he got stopped before he could get on in front of him. And unfortunately, that just means that this mid lane turret's not gonna provide any protection for poor Dax, who just gets absolutely shredded. Leaves looking for that engage. It does manage to throw him off, and the mid tower is gonna go down, which is going to leave Baron wide open. Blue team does summon the Rift Herald in the bot lane, so the rest of TDE has to respond to that instead of maybe going for another neutral objective.
And this is TDE's way into the game 5 victory. They need to look for the picks with Vexel, with Ashiero, with the damage that's coming out through Leaves, and use that to snowball through the reset that's coming out from the Viego. And it's even more beneficial when it is someone that is like this Jinx, she's 3 and 4, but she does have AD carry items, she does deal damage, and when Viego is able to take that, he's able to continue the fight.
So much so, and he just loves getting those range damage champions because then they're able to fight off from a distance despite being so squishy. And that's just something that he normally doesn't have. So it's a nice little okay, I can relax a little bit and firing my gun off in the background, reading the Connect in my other hand.
Maybe ordering some merch at FFS5sports.com/merch.
Yep, pulling out his cell phone in the middle of that fight, because we all know the Ruined King has a cell phone.
Oh, definitely. Okay, we see Baby is here first. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, but they have the track in the river through the bot side. They're setting up their vision. Ultravox throws out an E. He's going to see them.
Leaves is looking for that, does throw out the Black Mist, is able to go in. Very sneaky deaky like. We do have a turret fall.
However, TP's in.
Warren is TPing in. He is ready for this engage. We've got a 5-man fight right here. Leaves trying to find that sideways angle. Finds the control ward. Does take it out. However, look at this. We've got the fight going on. Ashiero does find Antunes. Antunes is getting shredded. Looking the wrong way means that the Renata finds multiple targets. However, we get Dex diving in on that back line. Absolutely shredding Ultravox. Going through those health bars like they're nothing. P-Sweezy brought exceptionally low. Not able to go down before the Shen ulti comes in and saves him. And that is going to be a huge fight going over for Baby.
And that fight started the exact way TDE wanted, but unfortunately, it is the Braum. You cannot throw everything out on a champion that can just block all the damage.
Yeah, he just soaks it all up right away.
And Jaffe wasn't even there. He ults in towards the tail end to keep his AD carry alive, or maybe it was somebody else, but he keeps someone alive. Oh wait, the Braum shield was backwards.
It was backwards, but the Renata ult just doesn't find the right targets. I think Dax was just above it.
He ulted P-Sweezy.
Yeah, Shen ulted P-Sweezy and kept him alive towards that very end, which allowed Corki to get off the last bit of damage right there, which is huge for Baby. It allows them to get that huge reset. They pick up their first Ocean Drake, which, while it's not the best for them, like you were saying, that extra bit of healing is always good. You get a little bit of sustain, a little bit of extra time in these fights, and that's just going to allow them to rotate up to this Baron, and they probably are going to try and take it before TDE has a chance to even respond.
Yeah, this is definitely Baby's Baron, and you know, you're in a bad position now. You lost a 4v5. A majority of your members were dead before the Shen even ults in. That's terrible, terrible for morale.
It is, and it's really, really rough. And unfortunately, because even if Renata had been able to get over there, they don't have the ultimate to stop the Baron fight, which is another thing that the Renata you can use with that hostile takeover, is it just allows you to basically go, okay, stop attacking the Baron, attack yourselves for a couple of seconds, which can give your team enough time to get there. But that does mean now bounties are on the board for TDE. So they've got that top turret that's looking pretty spicy, and then they've got the mid-tier 2 turrets on mid and bot lane that are both going to be available. So some sources of extra income are on the map for Trickle Down, and they really need that gold to come back into this game.
Yeah, we definitely need to see more gold on Mezuzah. He's not able to put out enough damage when he goes in these fights. As we saw, the Braum was able to live and Leaves could not get the reset, which when you're playing Viego and you cannot get the reset, that's almost the entire point of your champion.
Exactly. And with this right here, we do see that Baby is basically just pushing in onto TDE. Just so much is going in on them.
It's
coming in from left right. It is on P-Sweezy. Action is going to be huge as it manages to stun the Jinx as well. Hostile takeover, getting multiple members of Baby. This is 3, 4. That's going to be 3 of the Baron buffs gone.
That was an excellent engage.
Devastating.
Found the right person. They get a kill onto the Jinx right away. They get the shutdown. They kill P-Sweezy. They get the shutdown. And critically, it's once again on Leaves. If he can just keep picking up these kills, he might be able to 1v9. And silently, Ultravox is also picking up. He picked up 2 kills. He has more kills than Leaves now.
And that nice bit of gold on them is exactly what they want and need. And now that they've got this nice push here in the mid lane, and they've taken a lot of Baron power plays off the board, it is going to allow a lot of opportunities for them to start coming back into this game.
Now, what do you think is TDE, like, they have to just keep going for picks and great side flanks like this. I don't see them winning fights without doing this.
The way that they're going to win these fights is by forcing them to be in the jungle or in the mid lane where there's very little for anyone to go, and you just basically force the 4v5 right there. Huge!
Dead.
Does actually manage to keep not alive. They are going to have to run away. They've got a burn on them as well. Dax is going to go down. Leaves picking up that extra reset. But look at the Corki guy from the background from downtown is not going to be enough. We see Leaves picking up yet another kill. They drop down the Corki ultimate as well, but that's not going to be left. They're going to be caught under tower, and that is going to be Antunes and Luru picking up the extra kills when the disengage would have been far more advantageous.
Yeah, Anshin comes in at just the right moment, keeps his AD carry alive. Luru plays the ranges perfectly and manages to clean up the remainder of TDE. And I believe he actually even picks up a shutdown on Leaves, which is very good for a Jinx to pick up even more gold like that. It starts off good from TDE, but it gets bad real fast.
It does. It's one of those situations where you overstay your welcome. They see that they got that kill on Dax. Unfortunately, because of that angle for P-Sweezy, that's what really devastated them. Yeah, great teleport flank. That's what Baby needs to do as well. So they need to be flanking on these side lanes in order to continue fights like this. However, what I was going to say that TDE needs to do, they need to try and bait Baby into the jungle, into these corridors where there's nowhere for them to go, get Braum to drop that shield, and then get the Renata ultimate behind it, or the Ashe arrow behind it as well, and that's going to allow them to do a lot before the CC comes off.
Now, something important to note is Ornn is level 14. We're going to start seeing these Ornn items come through for the side of TDE. This will start fixing the 4,000 gold deficit that they are currently in. Each one is worth roughly 1,000 gold in stats, so it does end up helping them.
It's going to be really, really nice. Ornn's going to absolutely love giving away those early Christmas gifts. And we will be looking forward to seeing if maybe he might have a hoodie, for one of them to kind of throw on. To provide a little bit of extra protection, a little bit of camouflage. Might have the FOF logo, exclamation point merch.
It really is just him giving discount codes. Just go to FOFesports.com/merch.
And
That's
speaking
top
of
line.
discount codes, we've got FOE25, which you can use at Pro Comps to get a discount on your drafting tools.
Yeah. Support
Yeah.
our sponsors. They support us.
Exactly. So it's
All
kind
right.
of awesome right there.
We see TDE setting up in the bot side. I don't see a timer on Dragon.
I don't see a timer on Dragon, but that's perfectly all right. We can just kind of guess at it right
28
now.
seconds.
It's a couple of seconds right there. We do see Poor.
Like
No, this is not what you want, TDE. Don't do this.
Mezusa
Mezusa getting caught out is going to be nasty. And we see that Dax picking up that extra kill. Antunes trying to find that engage. They're waiting for it. We have the Barrel's breath coming out. Dax is going in hard, though. Look at him going in on the forehand. He's going to go golden at just the perfect opportunity. Shelty's going to come down. We do see he's going to stay alive. He's going to go down just before as the Shen comes in. So that means he's going to join the fight. Stun from Bob Joseph means the disengage is going to occur, but there's nothing that Zenzen can do. That Dragon is going to be free for baby, and they are just taking this game and running away with it.
TDE had no business contesting that or taking that fight. You lost a large portion of your damage when Mezusa gets caught, and critically, Baby picks up on that, and they win the fight, pick up the Dragon, and they're now on sole point with a 6,000 gold lead.
Jeez Louise, TDE was doing so well, and they just started to lose their grip on this game. And unfortunately, that Mezusa getting caught out like that is going to be so hard. They've got to start grouping up. They had the right idea: draw Baby into the jungle. But if you're drawing Baby into a trap, there needs to be more than one TDE member.
Yeah, Mezusa was just off on his own. Unfortunate.
No. Vex got what she wanted, though.
The next thing that Baby's going to be looking for is this Baron that is spawning up in 33 seconds.
That Baron in 33 seconds is going to be nasty, and there's going to be a huge fight over it.
If Baby gets it, it's hard to see a world where TDE can really hold their base now. The Corki is on 3 items. He's able
Zenzen walking in. The horn is coming out. We do see that it was blocked. However, the run ultimate's only going to find Antunes once again.
Nice pick!
That is going to be a huge shutdown as Vex jumps onto the Jink, getting that pick off, but they're going to be caught out away from the rest of their team.
Split.
The rest of the team, though, is actually going to be okay. We have the bailout coming out onto Ultravox, means they've got so much attack damage, but unfortunately it's coming from an axe onto a Shen. Not a lot of damage is going to actually be able to come through massively. Look at how much health Dax has got now. Full HP. The rest of the members of TDE are having to walk away from this Baron. Oh, I feel like that fight was going really well, but unfortunately they can't kill that Shen.
They managed to stall the Baron. They cannot do it without the Jinx. This is not on-hit Corki. This is poke Corki. It's really slow to do the Baron like that. But critically, they were not able to get anything else off of that fight. While they did get the shutdown onto Mezusa, which is fantastic. I've been talking that he needs more gold all game. But they blew all their ults once again on a Braum. It's not great.
No, they really keep hitting Antunes with as much CC as possible, and he just keeps soaking it up. And it's like, oh, you're hitting me? Okay, I can take this. This is fine.
Yeah, if they had just saved one of those ultimates, there's a solid chance that they end up killing Jappy, or they end up killing P-Sweezy in that fight on the top side. There's no need to burn that much onto a support, especially one that can block half of your stuff.
My feeling is they just didn't have the vision, and so they thought that there were more members of Baby down there.
It's entirely possible they could have thought there was more there.
And with the perfect opportunity, we got another Ornn call coming down
once again
on the Shen. This is going to they're going to find the Shen ult dropping down off the lure. The Berserk hits the Jinx. Jinx is starting to auto-attack the Royal Seconds. They're going to go down. That's going to mean that the reset's available for leaves if they want to go under tower. Ash Arrow peppering things from the back line, but the Corgi's going to pepper everybody. Separates the entire team, but is it going to be enough as we have Ultravox peppering the entire team? Those crystal arrows are just doing so much damage. Jaffe is finally brought exceptionally low. The bailout reset on Ultravox means that they're going to take this tower.
And the hero ultimate in from Mezusa gets the pick onto Lulu. They get the resets. They manage to get not only an ace, but they burn the GA on the Nocturne, which is critical. It was there to stop Leaves from resetting off of him when he dives in. And Ultravox ends up living.
Oh, that was so spicy, and that was just so wonderful to see. Just that the amount of damage that Ultravox was able to dish out was beautiful, and that is going to mean that there's going to be another turret going down. We're going to speed things up here a little bit just so that we can get to going on to the next fun stuff, and we are going to see the inhibitor opened up. Next objective on this board is still the Baron. That fight costs so much. They aren't able to do it quite yet.
Yeah, but something to note here. Look at TDE. There's only one source of anti-heal. And while it is on the Renata, the only way she can apply it to the entire team is with Shirelia's. So you don't have a lot of heal cut. And Soul Point is here. Soul could happen for Baby, and it's Ocean Soul. If you can't stop that healing effectively, it might not matter. You might not be able to get your resets, which is entirely what they're playing for.
It is what they're playing for. You've got the tankiness on so many members of a Baby right now that it is just so hard for TDE to really make sure they're able to do what they need to do. Antunes, fantastic shielding so far, but look at this. We got the vision control is going over to the side of TDE. They're clearing out the vision here. They don't see that ward that's hiding out in the bush inside of the Drake pit, though.
Something to note here. Last fight, package was used. Oh, and it looks like they're doing a trade play.
We could be seeing a trade play, but the question is, are TDE going to go for it, or are they going to try and contest this Baron?
They have to just contest the Baron at this point. Dragon's not even spawned yet.
It's not, so they are going over to Baron. Zen sees it. Baron is getting so low. Action is going flat. It's not going to be catching them in time, though. We do have Renata trying to come up there right now. Mizuza catching very, very low. We have Jaffe in the back line trying to just run away so to make sure they can save at least one Baron call. And look at that. Zen trying to find something. They aren't able to. The turnaround, the rotation was just too slow. So now it's going to be a fight for this Drake.
And that was a great macro decision from Baby. They saw all 5 members of TDE on that pink ward in the tri-bush below Baron pit, and they're like, wait, it's not even spawned yet. We'll just take the Baron.
Oh, yep. They are able to take the easy Drake, though. Red is able to pick it down really, really quickly, avoided getting caught by that Super Mega Death Rocket, but now they've got to contest with this Baron power play. But we did see earlier TDE steal that Baron away and take out multiple members. So could be in their favor still.
Now all TDE needs to do is to not get picked. They need to be able to clear these waves safely and stall out this Baron as much as possible. It's okay if you sack these outer towers, or maybe even one inhib, as long as it's not in a really bad position for them. The important thing is to not die, because if you die, it's a 4v5 and they can just keep going onto your base and potentially end the game.
Massive push, massive siege is going to be coming out now from Baby. You can tell now we've got the Decide on the side. We got a couple of Ornn ultimates out as well, so that's just going to be really, really nice. The Decide is going to be really important on this Leaves, trying to make sure that he's just able to be that decision maker. And now we got some more coming out from Ultravox picking up their Ornn ultimate as well. They've got that Blood Ward, so now they're able to just steal even more and just stay alive. Oh,
yeah,
those Christmas gifts are great.
Yeah, that's why it's okay for them to start giving up some of these outer towers. The gold doesn't really matter as much in this point in the game. While yes, it still does matter, and you can be like, oh, I finished an item. These Ornn items kind of help stabilize the bleeding just a bit. It's roughly 5,000 gold for the whole team once all of them are in.
And with that, it's going to allow the rest of the members. We do see Zen
might be in trouble.
He's going to be a lot of trouble.
Getting ulted.
Dropping. He's trying to get back to his teammates as quickly as possible. The rest of the team is coming to arrive. They have just arrived and found Dax. Dax is taking a lot of damage. The Renata ult is only going to find Antunes once again, going a little bit wide. But we got the shield down. It's going to manage to knock up Antunes, but that's the only other target. The vision coming out from Ultravox trying to find it. We do see it his Luru, but the cleanse is going to come out, so they're going to stay alive. We have the Bucks going wide. Jaffe providing a great amount of shielding as he's just able to soak up everything. But look at this. Leaves gets that reset. Luru takes down Zen, so that's going to be a massive Ornn who is gone. Ultravox is still very healthy, as is Leaves, but that is going to be a threatened tier 2 tower, and there's just no way for them to really engage on this.
Yeah, they managed to make the fight go even through some really well-timed ultimates. Oh, the engage is coming.
Diving in on there, trying to get a hold of it. Dax is going to get brought low. The GA is going to fall, so he's going to stay alive. Bob Joseph managing to stay alive with just a sliver of health. We see the rest of TDE now panicking, running back to Fountain, trying to heal up as best they can to stop the rest of this hemorrhaging. That is a massive amount of Baron buff that is now gone, so they did manage to survive it. But still, it cost them so much.
I mean, they do lose an inhib, and unfortunately, it's the worst inhib for them. Having that inhib in the top lane is the furthest possible way from this dragon. This dragon spawns in 2 minutes, inhib will not be up, which means someone is going to need to be up there to stop the supers, and that could potentially create a bad position.
And we're going to see a lot of pressure coming out from the rest of Baby as they're just going to keep pushing that top wave in as best they can. Most likely, we're going to have our bot lane duo up there. Zen might join eventually with that TP so that they can join the Drake if necessary. But other than that, it's just they're still very back-footed for TDE, and they have to contest Drake because it's Soul.
See, they have Mezuzah in the top lane right now trying to collect that gold, but it's important to note, Mezuzah just finished Onions. They're not close to any items whatsoever. You should have this Ashe who is closing in on their 5th item. They should be in the top lane collecting that gold because whether or not that item is finished could decide the game.
It's going to be really interesting if that play ends up affecting them. We do have all of the members of Baby in that bottom bush. They're waiting for it. They're waiting for Drake to spawn. They've got vision control of the river. They know exactly where these TDE members are going to be.
Yeah, there's not really any need for them to play topside. Baron's not up. There's an inhib already there, so they can just safely set up. Now, something to note.
Warren's trying to call it right now, going in on Jappy, of all people.
I like the attempt at the pick, but they just don't have the tools to be able to follow up.
It's a shed.
Yeah.
It's a shed. Oh, the death bush is available right here. Zen right here. This might be the engage that they wanted. We have Vex
in.
Trying to find a target. This is going to be huge. The Corky ultimate is going to be absolutely massive. The package just does so much damage. Zen going golden, trying to stay alive, but that's not going to matter. He's going to go down. Luru looking to get that reset. However, Luru is going to get shut down, go golden as well, and stay alive. We do see Leaves going golden, trying to stay alive, but not able to do it. And
that's the game.
Is going to be huge. That is going to be game because we've got the massive push in the top lane. That is going to be Baby going into the grand finals. This is absolutely devastating, and what a huge upset.
And at the end of the day, the player that had the most trouble in game 1 and 2, P. Sweezy, he carries with amazing, flawless games on Vex, and then comes in with the gigantic package and helps end the game.
That is an insane reverse sweep by Beat Boop as they just come into this, and already we're starting to see it's going to be a crazy matchup between the robot and the cat. I am at a loss for words, really.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. It's a bittersweet. I'm happy to see my friends do well on Baby, but I'm also happy when they lose because I'm not on their team anymore. So
And with that, it means that you're going to be going up against Team Baby in the grand finals, and it's going to be Beat Boop versus Universal Basic Income. That is going to be an exciting match to watch. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with an interview with our winners. Don't go away. Hello, folks. We are back with the winners of the reverse sweep in this best of 5 semifinals. I have got Dax and P. Sweezy from Team Beat Boot joining us today. Guys, how are you feeling?
I'll go first, Patrick, but I'm busted. I worked an 8-hour shift and then played 5 games of intense League of Legends, and I am tired. But I also feel great, to be honest with you, Sherigan.
Oh,
I am right in that exact same boat as you, working a long shift, then 5 very intense games, and a lot of yelling. My brain kind of hurts.
I'll bet. Honestly, this is the thing about these best of fives. It's the stamina that you've got to have in order to maintain and able to keep things going, which I know is really rough. So first off, let's just hop into these questions, get you out of here, because I know some folks are feeling really tired. So I just want to ask you, who planned that level 1 bush in game number 3 that it basically spelled the reverse sweep incoming?
Yeah, that was me. So they'd been flexing, like Bob Joseph's an amazing Blitzcrank player. Don't get me wrong, but they were flexing that stuff, that pick, like what was it, 4 games in a row. So we were like expecting level 1 plays. I think the first game we did top side, and then we picked a different bush the second game, but got nothing. And then we were just like, well, if they throw level 1, we're gonna get a massive momentum swing. So I was just like, let's sit in a different bush and expect them to come because they're playing Blitzcrank again. And our level 1, we all felt our level 1 was better. So
and clearly it was.
Struck gold. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's really funny? In game number 2, you guys set up in exact opposite bushes. They were in top side 5-man bush, and you were in bot side 5-man bush.
Oh,
it was hilarious. It was like, okay, so this is kind of funny. They're exactly mirroring each other. It's great. I love it. But still, like the fact that you're able to pull that off, spell the beginning for the end. So I got to ask you, just like, what were your thoughts on that game 5 draft, especially UP Sweezy, because you were able to pick up that Corky, which those packages, chef's kiss.
I mean, I personally, going into this 5 series, did not expect to get Vagar or Corky for any of them. And they left up the Corky, and I cannot, for life of me, figure out why they would leave that open. Seeing as I am still currently undefeated on it, I think.
I think so. Like, if you had lost this game, it would have been the final nail in the coffin. But still.
No, I think all of us were pretty. We were expecting a Twitch ban 4 and 5, but they threw it in the first, and they picked the Ashe, which we have been banning all series. So I think they just were expecting us to prio other things, and maybe they just forgot that P-Sweezy's Corky was there because he's got a giant package, and they delivered.
It was a very well delivered, massive package. I had just, again, chef's kiss on all of those. They were just very, very well done. And I know you guys are tired, so I just got 2 more questions for you. So going into the grand finals, you're going to be facing off against Universal Basic Income. How do you feel about that, and what are your plans, especially considering that Red said on cast he'd much rather go against trickle-down economics?
Well, I know on my side, me and Red had been chatting, and he was saying that he thinks UB loses to us. So, I'm just putting that on the record. I also agreed with that, so we're going to try and do our best to prove him correct. But we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty excited to be playing him and get revenge and making him regret not playing with us on Baby this season.
How about you, P-Sweezy? What you got for me?
I think going into the UB match, we're 2-1 against them since qualifiers. And I mean, I think in the interview for pre-semis, I stated that TDE was just UB 0.5, and so we weren't really like scared. Well, I think this is a really good warm-up for us to just take down the Cat Boys,
Exactly. What a fantastic warm-up it is. And then we have got the last question right here I got for you is, what are your plans for the hoodie? Because, I mean, you got a robot. Is there a particular drink you think you guys have nailed down? I know I asked you last time, but I'm going to keep asking until you give us an answer.
I haven't actually pitched this to anyone. I'm planning on pitching it to Koshi or Chris Zunga, but I'm hoping that he's drinking BBZ oil, because I think that the Team Baby is literally an amalgamation of BBZ players that came back because they wanted to play together, and then we took the robot mantle. So I think he's going to be drinking BBZ oil.
Okay. I like that. All right, guys. Well, I got to say, thank you so much for doing the reverse sweep instead of the clean 3-0 and letting us go to bed early and making us stay up late. So really, really appreciate that. But it was great having you here for the interview.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And it was a fun few games.
It was great to be here and great few games, yeah.
All right, folks, with that, we're going to go ahead and close it out for the night. Everyone have a wonderful and safe evening. And remember to say thank you to our sponsors, Adobe Creative Cloud, Logitech Gaming, Pro Comps, which you can use FOE25 for that little bit of a discount right off your first purchase. And then, of course, we have got to say, make sure you check out the merch store. Lots of crazy things over there. Absolutely fantastic. And we will see you on the Rift.